Hello, 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 everyone. Welcome. This is today's consciousness conversation, and I'm very excited to be here and talk about this topic today. And today we're going to be talking about emotional survival mode and what that is and what you can do to overcome it and why you would want to, really. And I'm actually going to be expanding on this topic on June 23rd, Friday, June 23rd. I'm actually going to be as part of the Activating Light Leadership Academy. I'm really, really excited about it. I'll be putting more information in my links as I get more information. So this is all something that's just developed in the last week, and I'm really excited about it. It'll be a 2-hour talk in this academy where there's going to be over 30 speakers. So there should be something for everyone. So please save the date. Save the date. This academy is going to go from the 22nd to the 24th, and I'm actually going to be speaking that Friday night at 7 p.m. on the 23rd. So I'm really excited to be a part of these beautiful, like-minded people in this light leaders is what they're called. So very excited about that. So today I wanted to talk about in our consciousness conversation about what being in survival is about. So thank you everyone for being here. Whether you're on Facebook, please give me a heart so that we can generate more content and more reach organically. And thank you for those of you who are showing up on YouTube. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Please like and subscribe. I truly appreciate all the support, but emotional survival, for some of us, it took a long time to realize what it was and how it was impacting us. Emotional survival is where you are feeling your way through life and how to keep yourself safe. And this survival mode really arises from the need to stay safe and stable. Sorry, can't speak. Yeah, you've been in either an abusive situation or a narcissistic situation, someplace where your emotions were not being met, your emotions were not even being identified, right? Allowed in many cases. And so there were ways in which you absolutely learned how to kind of navigate your environment, right? And so some of the ways this has impacted you, so whether it was, physical abuse, mental abuse, emotional abuse, sexual abuse, whether it was narcissistic parent, narcissistic caregiver, maybe for some of you, it's just the whole narcissistic relationship now, and you're starting these ways to keep yourself safe and stable are just something you're recognizing has happened more recently, right? So however you came to this, you find it's hard to get things done on time. You find it hard that you're always feeling like you're in catch-up mode, like you're always catching up, you're always behind the 8 ball, you're always late, you're always not making the deadline, right? And it can be all areas of your life. It could be work, right? But it also could be things like not getting married, not having a baby, not getting the career, not getting the certification, not getting the diploma, like whatever it is you feel like you didn't hit that mark, right? And a lot of those marks really are societal. A lot of those marks are family expectation, right? And so when you are not emotionally invested in, you don't feel the love, you don't feel the ability to be yourself, be your authentic version. Like you're always trying to be what everybody else thinks you should be, right? This is the effect of it, right? The effect of it is I can't get there. I can't get it done. I can't do it how I'm supposed to, right? When you're carrying the hurt, when you're carrying the trauma of whatever it is, right, for you individually, it's going to be something for everyone differently for everyone, right? But it's sitting on your heart or it's weighing on your shoulder, right? It's that thing that no matter what you do, you can't seem to get out from underneath it. And for some of you, it keeps you in this hyper vigilance or hyper awareness, right? So for many of you, there's the anxiety, the depression. It results in kind of all of this nervous system, right? Your sympathetic nervous system not being able to ever calm down because you're always in this fight or flight mode, right? Because you've learned that the person or the situation that's not allowing you, right, to feel safe, to be emotionally contained or I don't want to say coddled, but that was kind of the word I was getting, right? But you basically, you don't have permission to express your emotions in a safe environment, right? So you're in this, say, unsafe place. You're feeling like you've always got to be in fight or flight, right? Taking care of yourself, making sure you're safe in whatever way that is. And so this hyper awareness, this hyper vigilance, right? It keeps you like taking care of things before it happens, or being like always anticipating what other people need, always anticipating, the way things could go. You're always having a plan B. You're always making sure there's a contingency plan, right? And again, this goes back to something made you feel unsafe, where you had to make sure that you were always going, being, doing, taking care of, right? Everyone else, all the situations, all the things, right? So you weren't able to figure out who you were, figure out what you like, be able to have the time to really dig into anything, whether it was a hobby or an interest. You were always kind of shelving your stuff, right? Because if you're not taking care of everybody else, if you're not being and doing for everybody else, right? If you're not in this survival mode, you won't survive. I mean, that's kind of how this is the thinking behind the thinking, right? If I'm not making sure that everybody around me is okay, then I'm not going to be okay. And that becomes a problem. That becomes a problem when you're always in this constant state of awareness, this constant state of being and doing. So you do get exhausted. You do suffer bouts of depression, bouts of isolation, bouts of loneliness, right? And so this is why it's so important for you to start to recognize, and especially if you're seeing this, right? Whether you're here on the replay or live, welcome, Darlene, welcome Zuda, welcome Ariana, the beautiful Aries Empress, welcome. If you're feeling like, oh, wait a minute, that's me, or, oh, that's been me, or, oh, that's me, in this new situation I'm in, whatever stage you're in, right? Because for some of us, this was something that we had to learn about because this was the way we always lived our life, right? Because our family unit was such that, right? We were in constant survival mode. For some of you, you're finding what survival mode is through maybe being in a relationship that is with someone who is emotionless or not connected emotionally to their emotional body. Very, narcissistic, or levels of narcissism, or levels of, not allowing you to be the full expression of yourself emotionally, right? And if this happens over a long period of time, If you're shut down emotionally by the people or situations around you, right? This is going to cause you to kind of need ways in which to feel better. And that's where we get into addiction. That's where we get into overspending. That's where we get into self-harm. All the things that are trying to alleviate or release that valve, that pressure valve of hurt, right? And trauma. And so this is so important for you to start to recognize if this is, you're starting to identify with any of this stuff, because, are you in survival mode? Have you been in survival mode, right? So I wanted to talk about this today because I think this is really important, especially for those who are in patterns or in relationships where this way of kind of living your life is really starting to have a detrimental impact, right? It's keeping you broke. It's keeping you overweight. It's keeping you, all the things that you don't want, right? Because when you're in survival mode, you can't learn the things you need to learn. You can't manifest from that place of joy, right? Because when we talk about manifestation, we talk about, okay, you have to have the feeling to match the desire. But if you're someone that's in survival mode all the time, how do you get into those higher frequencies of love and compassion and joy and gratitude and empowered, right? How do you do that? How do you do that? Because you're always sad, you're always depressed, you're always not feeling good, you're always afraid. You're always afraid. And why wouldn't you be afraid? Because if you're in situations with people who don't make you feel safe and stable, right? If you're in situations that are abusive, physically, verbally, emotionally, mentally, energetically, right? How can you get into those higher states of consciousness? How can you get into being able to manifest a way out, right? How can you manifest the money you need to leave? How can you manifest the right people to come in and say, we can help? When you're not feeling good, when you're always feeling like you're in despair, you're on the bottom of the barrel and there's no way out of that barrel. How do you have happiness, dreams, love, and ease? How do you have the good stuff when there's nothing in your life that's allowing you to feel good? So this is why we have to start to identify, is this why I can't manifest? Is this why I can't seem to get what I want? I can't get the job, or when I get the job, I can't keep the job. Or when I get the money, I can't keep the money, right? When I have the opportunity or the resource, it fritters away. It comes or leaves as fast as it came. It's because you're not in an energetic place to be able to maintain it. You might get your energy up there to manifest it like once, but you can't maintain it. You can't stay in that resonance of the good stuff. You keep getting pulled down into the muck because of the abuse, the grief, the anger, the resentment, the threat, the woulda, coulda, shoulda. I woulda, coulda, shoulda, right? It's wasted energy. So today, if you're listening to this, whenever you're listening to this, if you're called to see this, there's something here that you need to hear to help you on your journey, to help you move into being able to have the love, have the money, have the relationship, have the experience that fills up your cup. Not to be living in constant fear. Not to be living in constant fear of, are they going to be in a good mood when they get home? Are they going to blame me no matter what? Is there going to be enough money? whatever it is that you're afraid of. Whatever it is you're afraid of. That's where you kind of have to look and say, okay, do I have to start putting up a boundary? Do I have to start drawing a line in the sand and deciding to do something different? Do I have to start using no as a complete sentence? Especially with, the people and the family members in your life who just expect you to take care of things, just expect you to do it. They don't even ask anymore. Those people don't respect you because you've shown them you don't respect you. And so you have to respect yourself before others are going to respect you. You have to love yourself enough to say, I can't do this anymore. And for some of you, you may really have to think about getting support before you set a boundary or make a change. You might need to look at a resource, an agency, or a trusted family or friend. Because I know that for some of you, this might be just always being negative in your checkbook before your next payday. For some of you, this just might be, I got a little addiction to sugar, right? For some of you, this might be you're getting hurt on a regular basis physically. For some of you, this might be you are in a very dangerous situation. So I don't want anybody who's watching this to think I take any of this lightly. I'm not a medical professional. I'm not a legal professional. Definitely check in with your professionals. If you find that you are in this depressed, addicted, harmful, or you're with someone that's like that, right? Being in survival mode, in whatever form it looks for you. I mean, for some of you, it is just anticipating other people's needs and just being late on and not on time all the time, right? That's a form of it. But for some of you, the survival mode you're in is life and death survival mode. That one more hit or one more trip down the stairs could be permanent damage. So I don't take it lightly when I say set a boundary, because I know for some of you, setting a boundary, that is terrifying. Saying no is terrifying. That's why it's called survival mode. Surviving, not just emotionally, not just physically, mentally, spiritually, energetically, surviving, living, right? To stay living, because you're here as a beautiful soul to contribute your energy, to contribute your heart, to contribute who you are, and that is needed. Your kindness, your love, that is needed. And so for many of you, the way in which that you're keeping yourself safe is because of your clairsentience, because you can feel the energy and you can feel when it's not good, and you can feel when you're in danger, and you can feel when you got to get out of the way or when you got to move, right? This clairsentience, this ability to feel the energy, that is a beautiful gift. And you've probably never thought of it as a beautiful gift because it was the way in which you just kept yourself safe. It became like just part of one of your other senses, right? But it's actually a clairsentience, being able to feel energy, right? And when you really start to trust and act on that, which you probably have for a very long time, especially if this is a situation that's been going on for a very long time. And what happens is when you start to develop one of your other senses, the other spirit senses start to come in. And so if you're someone that has really trusted your clairsentience, your knowingness, right? Your feeling, then you probably also have the claircognizance or the clear knowing, right? Or maybe it's the clairaudience, your hearing. Or your clairvoyance, your third eye opening. And it's okay to start trusting and acting on those senses also. Because when you're in connection to spirit, you're raising your vibration up to meet them as they come down to meet you, right? That's where you start to be able to start to what I call live in alignment. Because now you can trust and act on what they're bringing you. The intuition, the knowingness, the claircognizance, the knowingness, or the hearing, right? Or the clairvoyance, the third eye seeing. So this survival mode, when you really start to move out of it and you start to understand what it is and why you have been living your life this way, right? And when you start to take the steps to set the boundaries and use no as a complete sentence, there will be situations where there will be people that won't accept that. They won't accept you saying no. They won't accept you changing and taking back your power. You're empowering yourself, right? And that's okay. Those people probably just need to move on down the road. So unfortunately, for some of you, this may be the relationship. So it will be a little bit of a heartbreak, because no matter how bad someone is to you, especially, I can't say especially, I can say whether it's family, a parent, or whether it's relationship, partner, it's still, there's a heartbreak there. There's a grieving process. So I don't want you to think like this is going to, you're just going to say no and set a boundary and it's magically going to be okay. You still have to grieve that loss, because whether it's a parent or a relationship, like there was an expectation that that relationship would continue. You would have a relationship with that person. And for many of you, there won't be an option. That won't be an option. You're going to have to disconnect, because if they didn't respect you and they were disrespecting you so bad that they were hurting you in any of the ways, right? Verbally, emotionally, physically, energetically, that's disrespect. Calling you names, making you feel bad, putting you down. That's disrespect. And when you start to say, I'm not going to hear that no more. No, that's not okay. And they still do it, they're always gonna. That's who they are. They've gotten away with it in the past. They're going to get away with it in the future. You have to stand up for yourself. And for many of you, you're going to want that person that you love to stand up for you. And they don't have that ability. If they did, they wouldn't be hurting you. If they did, they wouldn't be disrespecting you. And I never want to make excuses for other people, and I never want to demonize them either. They have their own choices, but they also have consequences to those choices, right? And if they're going to treat you that way, then that's the consequence to that choice, that you move on. And so today, if you find that you are identifying with any of these ways in which you're not okay, then I'm hoping that you can take the message to empower yourself, to set the boundary, to say no, to get the support. Because when you start to change your emotions, you change your relationships. So I don't want you to feel like, okay, well, I lost that person. I've got to set that boundary. I got to walk away. What do I do now? Now I don't have anyone to love. No, now you get the opportunity to meet someone who will love you better, more authentically, right? When you're keeping somebody, especially if you're thinking like just having having someone bad is better than having no one, because you're not opening up the space for the good person, right person to come in. That person that you're holding on to is in the way. You got to get them out of the way so you can get the right person in. Change your thoughts. Change how you think. If you're thinking you deserve this, you don't. If you're thinking that it's your own fault, it's not. You have to think about how you're thinking. Are you making excuses for that person? Oh, they won't do it again. Yes, they will. If they've done it and they've apologized for it and they've done it again, there was no changed behavior. They will do it again. Only changed behavior is an apology. Only changed behavior on their part because they want to is sustainable. If they're apologizing and they keep repeating it, they don't love you. They don't respect you. They're getting what they want and they're continuing. And they're continuing. You have to change your frequency. Where you're resonating is down in the lower frequencies: fear, anger, resentment, grief, betrayal, abandonment. And you're resonating right now with someone who's resonating with that stuff. But you can resonate out of it. You can resonate into love and compassion and joy and start to manifest who you want in your life, what you want in your life. But not if you hold on to a relationship or a situation that isn't serving you. And if you're just holding on to a situation because you don't want to be alone, you're not allowing yourself the space to draw in what you do want. So if you really want to make a change, you have to set the boundary. You have to use no as a complete sentence. And the big, big key here is getting into gratitude for what you do have and what you do want. Because gratitude will help you to move that resonance faster. Especially until you can heal those parts of yourself that are resonating right now with the person or situation that isn't serving you. So the abandonment, the grief, the resentment, the betrayal, the powerlessness, the unworthiness, whatever you're resonating with, whatever the trauma is that you're holding on to physically, emotionally, mentally, spiritually. You can heal those things, and that takes time. But if you want to jumpstart that movement so you can start really drawing to you what it is you do want, get into gratitude. Get into gratitude. Thank you, Lindsay. Thank you. 21 days, 10 things every day you're grateful for. Even if you're not in survival mode, although at this point, if you're not, you probably aren't watching this anymore. But gratitude, no matter what you're wanting to manifest, can be the fuel in the manifesting. So, thank you, thank you, thank you. And if you want more on this topic, I'm recording this on June 8th, and on June 23rd, Friday night at 7 p.m., I will actually be in the Activating Light Leaders Academy giving a 2-hour talk on this subject. And so that's going to be, I believe there's over 30 people signed up for the 3-day event. It's free. I'll have more information coming, but I hope you'll join me there as well. All right, everyone, have a beautiful rest of your day. If you have any questions, please feel free to leave a comment either on my YouTube or on the Facebook post. And if you want any more information about how to raise your vibrational frequency, please go to my website, guidance311.com, where we can work together one-on-one through IET sessions or readings. All right, guys, have a beautiful rest of your day. Namaste.